Today's my birthday. Has anyone else had their birthday go badly? Here's how my birthdays used to get ruined. Not today, Satan, not today. Today is my birthday, and I'm just thankful that he can't ruin another one of my special days. One year he screamed at me for the entire 6-hour drive home, telling me he wished he'd never invited me on the trip we were on. To this day, I have no idea why. I had saved him hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on a trip to visit his daughter, because I had a special work discount. We had a great time up until that point. I made sure to give them space, and he and I did a lot of hiking in beautiful locations while she was in class. There were no fights the entire trip until he informed me that the one place I wanted to go to for my birthday, which was pre-planned, he wouldn't have time to take me to. The next day was my birthday, and all we did was drive home with me crying and him screaming, the silence between us growing thicker by the mile. I even called car rental places to drive myself home, but they had no availability. At one point, during a stop at a rest area, he hugged me, and I tried to see if we could talk it out. Instead, he told me to shut up and not talk to him. It was the worst birthday I've ever had. When we finally got home, his mood shifted dramatically, and he became suicidal. Despite my own turmoil, I checked on him to make sure he was okay. Meanwhile, my kids wanted to go out to dinner, and even though I had been crying all day, I refused to let him ruin my entire birthday. I pulled myself together enough to take my kids out and salvage what little remained of my special day. The next morning, I received a text from him asking me to check my front door. There, I found a card and a single rose. In the card, he wrote that he had stayed up all night thinking and feeling suicidal. He expressed remorse for ruining my birthday and said he wanted to marry me when the time was right, this coming just a day after he told me he never wanted to speak to me again. The emotional whiplash was overwhelming, and I couldn't fathom how someone could shift from such anger to remorse so quickly. It left me feeling more confused and hurt than ever. We stayed together. Time goes by, more mood swings. Finding out he was doing stuff behind my back, he now owed the IRS over $50,000, in which he lied about. A tax lien was placed on his house. He was reported to CPS by a professional, and things were finally over right before my B-Day 3 years later. He had given me permission to go in his house to get my stuff a day or two before my B-Day. He realized on my birthday that I had taken my kitchen knife set that his sister had given me 1 year for Christmas. He spent the entire day texting me, threatening to call the police because I took them back. He kept texting me incessantly, accusing me of taking something of his worth hundreds of dollars. They were actually $65 and on Amazon from my wish list. The dude was a lawyer making 6 figures, yet he wouldn't stop harassing me until I finally said I was going to contact his sister. I had done nothing wrong. He just wanted to ruin my birthday once again. His actions were clearly meant to torment me, and it was just another example of how he would go to great lengths to make my life miserable. Even on a day that should have been special and joyful, he found a way to inject stress and drama into it. It became painfully obvious that his goal was to disrupt my peace and happiness whenever he could. This relentless behavior was a stark reminder of why I needed to distance myself from him and protect my own well-being. Since then, he's apologized, done more shit, and has stalked my social media under fake accounts. He's now blocked from contacting me in any way possible, and it has been almost a year, I think. The only reason he wasn't long ago was we had a dog together that I loved, and that loved me that I still wanted to see. So yeah, I never want to hear from him again. For the record, he also flipped out on his kids and behaved similarly in his past relationships, so this wasn't just my experience with him. Additionally, he admitted to threatening suicide, not because he was actually suicidal, but to get attention. That's what he told me himself. I would have been devastated because I adored him, but I just couldn't deal with all the lies, manipulations, cheating, and abuse anymore. He kept promising he'd get help and go to personal counseling. We even went to counseling together with an abuse counselor. Despite all these efforts, nothing changed, and I finally had to give up. It was a heartbreaking decision, but it was necessary for my own sanity and well-being. I realized I couldn't continue living in such a toxic environment, and I needed to move on for my own sake and for the sake of my children. Comment. New Direction 52. This year's birthday and last year's were both ruined by my crazy maker. Last year was especially bad. I had a frozen burrito for dinner by myself, that I myself cooked in the microwave while he was upstairs, drunk, feeling sorry for himself about I don't even remember what, and our son was at a friend's house. Omgusanamwi. My 30th birthday was ruined because I invited all my friends to go on a picnic. I bought and made food and everything. And all of them canceled last minute, some the night before and some the day of and some even just an hour or so before. Even some of the people who agreed to bring food. Then I saw some of them post pictures of going out to a club or restaurant with the theme I was having for my picnic. Somehow they forgot, even though we were all planning for months the day and location. I did have really good pasta salad and fruit salad to eat all by myself for a few days though. The person who volunteered to drive me and make the cake didn't talk to me all morning but told me an hour before she couldn't go. She said she finished making the cake and everything but never showed me the picture of the cake or thought to bring it out to me a different day. Think Library 9577. Oh boy, were birthdays the worst. When I was with my ex to this day, I still struggle to celebrate my birthday. I'm so thankful to now be with an amazing man who goes absolutely all out for my birthday, but he really is the only one who celebrates with me, as I never got the confidence to make friendships again after escaping my abusive ex. My worst birthday with my ex was probably in our 3rd year together. I hadn't received a single gift throughout our relationship prior to this, not any birthday, Valentine's, anniversary, Christmas gift, etc. He'd never even buy my dinner. I always had to pay for both of us. He always would promise that he got me a present and say, I got you something super special, but it's at my house. However, there was always some reason I could never have my gift. It was held over my head like I had to earn it, which I never did. My gift, which definitely was never actually bought in the first place, would always get sold by my ex after a few weeks because he'd say I didn't deserve it. Anyways, I broke down crying a week before this 3rd birthday spent together, not feeling deserving to celebrate it. My ex told me I was being ridiculous, and he would make it up to me for not celebrating the years prior by making this birthday special. He told me not to worry because he was finally going to celebrate me the way I deserved. He set up a reservation for us to eat dinner at my favorite sushi place on the night of my birthday. I stupidly didn't bring my purse in because I thought he was paying for me this time. I'd bought us probably 100+ meals, he'd bought us McDonald's maybe twice. When the bill came, of course he didn't want to pay it. When I said I didn't have my bag because I thought he said he was taking me out to celebrate, he told me the reservation was the gift and screamed at me about how ungrateful and selfish I was. He yelled obscenities and said the world doesn't revolve around me, telling me I could wash dishes for all he cared. He stormed out of the restaurant and drove home, leaving me stranded there all alone with no ride. I ended up having to embarrassingly ask a nearby table if I could Venmo them for some cash in order to pay the bill. I Ubered home that night, thinking my life was over. I felt so unloved, so unworthy of love or celebration. I cried that entire night. But the next morning, my ex acted like nothing had even happened. He told me good morning and even said he had a real present for me. He showed up with those $5 and ugly rainbow flowers from the grocery store. Mind you, I do not care about how much money is spent, gifts are not what's important, but he genuinely put in zero effort for me. I would have been happy if he picked me flowers off the side of the road. He also had a full-time job and was more than capable of buying me something nice, he just didn't want to. I was so grateful at the time because those flowers were the first thing he'd given me. But he asked me to Venmo him back for them. I said, "You told me you got me a present," and he responded, "Yay, but you asked me to, plus your birthday was yesterday." I told him no, so he threw my flowers on the ground and stomped on them. Years later, I still get scared to celebrate myself. The trauma of past experiences still lingers, making it difficult for me to fully embrace the joy of my own special days. But my boyfriend of 2 years now has completely changed how I view these celebrations. He spoils me beyond measure. Every holiday, he takes me out wearing a tiara and showers me with an abundance of love and affection. He writes the sweetest cards ever, filled with heartfelt words that mean the world to me. Those cards alone would be enough, but he goes even further by buying the most thoughtful gifts. Many of them are quite expensive, so I know he has to save up for them. Despite the cost, he assures me I'm worth every penny. His actions have transformed my once dreaded holidays into occasions of pure joy. No longer do I shed tears of sadness on these special days, instead, I cry tears of happiness. His love and kindness have helped me heal from the past and appreciate the present. He has shown me what it means to be truly cherished, and for that, I am eternally grateful.